This is crazy with audio every time.
Where's the music at?
Something. Here we go. It was Belinda.
All right.
All right. We is live.
You got music? There
No, I don't have no music, Waylon.
You know I need to have my music.
We just letting it play. Whatever comes on, that's what we just gonna
All the
play.
commercials.
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday night.
Yeah.
See you guys coming in the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
How
Sorry, Belinda, you can't say nothing. I'm just waiting.
We playing Hollywood Squares.
We are, aren't we? Give me one second, everybody. I'm sorry.
Right on. Yeah.
All right. We in. Hey, everybody. We see you guys coming into the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Bread Lab Live After Dark. We see y'all coming in. Come on in.
Yeah.
Come on in. Don't y'all get quiet now.
I'm trying to hear that music. What you got?
Yeah, I'm liking the song.
Or their
Man. Let
juice.
the song play. Don't mess with
Or water. Cheers, cheers.
Yeah.
Everybody looking nice over there on their end. What you got, Belinda? What you got, Marlene? Quaylen, what's that? Water?
Something like that. A little kombucha, you know. Still trying to get that sponsorship.
Get that sponsor.
Yeah, I'm going to keep bringing it up until I get me a kombucha sponsor.
Gotta hashtag that GTS.
Right.
GTS. You got that
Stone's
right?
got his wine. What you got,
that
Marlene?
I have a little mimosa going on tonight.
Nice. You can never go wrong with the mimosa. What about you, Belinda?
I have Kettle One.
Ketel One. Okay.
Panico.
That would be vodka, right?
Yes, it would.
Okay. All right. So we see you guys coming in. Welcome. Happy Tuesday night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. The Bread Lab Live After Dark. I'm your host, Akila C, and my co-host, Quaylen. Thank you guys for coming. We're already getting a really nice room, and we haven't even been on a good 2 minutes. So thank you guys for joining us. We're going to jump in about 1 more minute, just allow some more people to enter into the room. Anybody have a good story or something they want to share while we're letting some folks come into the room?
Before we do that, just who's that playing? I'm feeling that
Who's playing
song
right now?
Yeah, you might have to send me that so I can send it to do it on my show. I like that song.
That's her.
Is that her? Yeah, that's what I thought. What's that track? Which one is that?
This one is I Used to Know Her.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody
It's nice.
Ketel One. Okay.
Who's that?
So somebody is playing something back. It's not me.
It ain't me.
1, 2, 3, not me.
Playing what back?
I can hear something. I can hear somebody's got Facebook up or something.
There we go. Yeah, so you guys, welcome to, this lovely place we call the Bread Lab.
It is a
I'm excited.
pleasure to
Tonight's
be
gonna
here, friends.
Yeah. It's good to have company over,
I'm telling you, right? Look at everybody's backgrounds. It's so festive. It's the women.
My heart is festive, though. You know what I'm saying? My heart's festive.
Beautiful stairs. You see Marlene's tree, and I don't know what to say about you fellas, but we glad y'all made it. Thank you guys again for joining us on tonight, the Bread Lab Live After Dark. I'm your host, Akila C, and my co-host, Quaylen. We have a really fun show for you guys tonight, as we've promised in some of our previous shows. We wanted to have some of our viewers, our listeners, to join us on our panel as we discuss topics that are important or relevant to some of us, each of us, uniquely. And tonight we want to talk about a topic that I should say speaks to our three panelists, but also some of you guys out there in the audience. And tonight we are talking about dating after divorce. Dating after divorce. And in conversation with one of our panelists, she said, okay, what if the dating part of it doesn't apply to me? What if I'm doing something different? And so we said, good point. So we came up with to date or not to date, right?
That is the question.
Without further ado, I want to introduce our panelists, our guests tonight. We have Belinda Spears, Marlene Elvia, and Stone, DJ Bad Boy. And I want them to all give you guys a little introduction, who they are, what they do. And if you guys, care to tell us, feel free to tell us how long you've been divorced, and then we'll jump in with some questions. So Belinda, why don't you start?
Hi, you guys. My name is Belinda Spears. I used to be Mrs. Gibson. I've been married for about 9 years and recently became divorced about this year in March, although I was separated for maybe about 5 years. I'm just getting divorced, unfortunately, but I believe it was a good thing. Currently, I work as a social worker as well as a therapist, and I'm just living day to day, and that's pretty much it about me. I'm single. I have a dog, and we just love each other.
Never alone.
Marlene.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. So Marlene, official last name is Spears. That is still my married name. I was married for about just shy of 2 years before the divorce was filed. And I have been just shy of 6 months divorced. And I am, just 6 months. It'll be 6 months at the end of this month in December.
Okay. So we'll say newly dead. I'm funny. I'm funny.
No doubt.
I'm funny. So Stone.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Stone, also known as DJ Bad Boy. I do a show every Sunday. A lot of people on Facebook. I invite a lot of people to the show today, but I do the boardroom. I also teach Chicago style stepping. So a lot of people also know me as Stepping Stone.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of things I do. But I've been divorced. I was married for 25 years. Divorced in 2009. And I still got my name. So I didn't lose my name in it. So it's been cool. And I'll be honest with you, I can't say anything it was bad about the divorce. It was good. She remarried. I'm good. So I think that's it for me.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Glad to be on the Bread Lab. Quaylen, I'm a fan.
Oh, appreciate it, brother. I appreciate the your participation. Marlene, you didn't get to say what you wanted to say. First time?
Yeah.
Long time
listener, first time caller.
Yeah. Welcome.
I've seen her comments. Sometimes
we'll qualify
me and Marlene
that.
is the only one that was commenting on some of the shows.
No, we appreciate it. And
absolutely.
And if you're doing a Zoom, step, tutorial, let me know. My mom's from the South Side of Chicago, so I know I got cousins and whatnot that are watching, and they all step. So I want to get my step game up.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. We'll connect after the show.
All right.
Y'all bear with me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Where you at, Quaylen? You in Cali or where you at?
Yeah. Born and raised in Cali. I'm in Portland, Oregon right now. It's crazy because I hear the weather in California has been 80s. You know what I mean? And I got on this little sweater. I'm sure you got a t-shirt on.
It's been like t-shirt on, but it's hot during the day and it's cold at night in the morning. But yeah, I'm in Cali now, originally from Detroit, but so
okay. All right.
People in Chicago, they know what's up with the stuff. I get your game tight, bro.
Yeah. Because that's another thing too. We can get into that when you can dance, you can go places other people can't go. You can do things other people can't do. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I get you right, brother.
All right.
So if I fall off, you guys, it's been a little wacky bit of a Tuesday night. I will log back on momentarily, but let's just go ahead and jump back right in. So all of you guys have obviously been married, you're divorced. So tell us a little bit about life after divorce, or where do you guys feel comfortable? What do you guys want to talk about regarding the divorce?
I didn't hear Quaylen. We all divorced?
What's that?
Are we all? Because I didn't hear Quaylen or you say anything.
No, I'm still married. Yeah, I want to ask you a question though, because I think the question is broad. If we just say, "Where are you at?" I guess I want to know, did you have any fears? Like what was in your mind prior to divorce? Because once it's done, right? I mean,
yeah.
So speak to, because everyone has a different experience, different background. What were you fearing going into divorce and thinking of yourself single? What was any challenges you might have faced, or did you have any at all?
I personally did not have any fears. I did not have any fears about getting divorced. It was a situation that I should have not have gotten married. So I was actually looking forward to and blessed to get out of alive. And so that is what I am, really focused on, is being blessed to be able to be divorced and be here with you guys speaking in person, because I know a lot of people that have been in my situation were not so fortunate. So it would be more fear of staying versus leaving.
Well, I'm glad that you can feel comfortable, because I know that takes a while to get to a space to feel comfortable sharing that. I do want to know, like, transitioning from being married to divorced, you become single again. Any fear about being single? Because I think Stone said he was married for 25. Belinda, 9 years, I think I heard.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you have to say about any fears or?
Yeah, I had a lot of fear. One of my main fears was security and stability. If I was going to be able to maintain my house, what that was going to look like for me, far as getting a job quick enough, soon enough to take care of the bills. Because my husband, he pretty much took care of the mortgage. He took care of the bills and things like that. And while I was going to school at the time, I've always been pretty much a go-getter and successful. But at this time, I was during that time I was in school, and it was really a scary time for me because I didn't know if I would get finished. I trust my ability to find a job, but I didn't know how soon I can get what I needed from the job in order to maintain what I had going, because the home was actually my home, and the bills were actually under my name. So I knew I had to secure that, and that was scary. And then as far as transitioning out of the relationship, I can say I wasn't scared when it came. I wasn't afraid when it came to that. I just wanted to hurry and get it over with so I could start my new life. So that's my new name, New Life. Right. And I just wanted that to hurry up and happen so I can enjoy it, because I always wanted to be married, and I still want to be married, and I never wanted to get a divorce. But I mean, it is what it is. But I felt like I was being cheated. I felt like I was cheated out of marriage. It just felt like that because I didn't have the opportunity to really show my wife abilities. or show the real Belinda on how loving I can be to my husband, because, I was very loyal. So that transition there, I wasn't afraid when it came down to leaving, but I was afraid as far as taking care of Belinda. So
okay.
That was
okay. How about you, Stone? I guess the question too, I don't want to lead into the dark side. We could talk about the dark side, but I do want to find out, as far as like thinking about being married 25 years to then being single, what's the mindset look like?
I mean, for me, it wasn't a fear. As strange as it is, I mean, 25 years is a long time. Obviously, I'll be 55 in April. So if you think about the numbers, that's almost the better half of my life.
Yeah.
That I was with this woman, married to her. All 4 of my kids were by her. But to be honest with you, I don't think it was a fear of being divorced. It was regrets, because you always think 25 years is a long time. You figure, what can I do different? When you've gone through the things that you've already exhausted, counseling, separation, and I've never said anything bad about my ex-wife. It got to a point where we grew apart. You've heard the terms, we grew apart. These things happen, etc. But I got to a point personally where I loved my wife, or ex-wife, but I didn't like her. And a lot of people didn't understand what that meant. It's like, I love her in the sense of, we've had these children together. We've done this for a long time, but it got to a point where I'm like, I just don't like her. So when the phone rang, I'm like, here she go calling. Or the garage could go come, like, here she come. When she calls my name from upstairs, like, what she want? And when you lose that feeling, when you see the phone ring, and like, that's my baby. Or the garage come out, she's home. It's time to leave. So for me, it wasn't necessary fear. It was like a relief. You start looking at the things that were problematic in the relationship. And for me, I'm the kind of guy, I have good parents, raised in the church, per se, Christian man, believe in the Lord and always turn to him. So I'm the kind of person that try to evaluate self. When you're going through certain things so much, I stop and I say, well, let me evaluate me. It can't always be her. So when you start evaluating, especially after 25 years, you start seeing certain things like, okay, I've done this. She's asked me to change that. She's asked me to change this. And then you go back and you reflect like, well, it seems like I'm the one that's doing all the changing. Yeah. And then you say, well, I'm not a bad dude. I'm a flawed man, but I'm not a bad dude. So I'm starting losing all these qualities that make me me. So when it got to that point, I just said, it's time to go. And real briefly, my story was simply like this. This is how I got divorced. Crazy as it sounds. I was sitting in the office, something like this at my house, doing something on the computer. And this is how we kind of get stuck in a relationship, in a cycle. I was doing something, and I heard a TV in the other room. And you hear the TV, but you're not paying attention, but you hear it. So I close the laptop, go down in the room, cut on. It's a doctor show. True story. And I, hit the volume, and I heard some say the life expectancy of a man, statistically speaking, is 85 years old. So they said, statistically speaking, I got to 85 years old statistically to live. Of course, those numbers can change. The accident can happen, whatever, coronavirus, who knew? But what they were saying, I got to 85. And so watch this. I was 42 at the time. This is crazy. I had an epiphany. I didn't think brothers supposed to have an epiphany. I thought it was for other people. So I had an epiphany. And I right there when I heard 85, I said, I was 42. So watch this. 42 plus 42?
Yeah, 84.
So right there, I said, I got half of my life left. And right then and there, Coy, and I kid you not, I said, I don't want to do this no more.
Word.
And I said, she deserved to be happy. I deserve to be happy, but I don't want to do it with her anymore. And that was it. And I asked her for a divorce. I say, before there's infidelity, before we have money issues, before we disagree on this, before there's any hate, blah, blah, we should have did this 10 years ago. And Amen. I asked for a divorce, and that was it. I never looked back. So I don't regret it. I want, to this day, we're still cool. She's remarried. Yeah. We're cool. We have 4 kids. They're all grown. And with 5 beautiful grandkids, we communicate when we need to, and it's peace. So.
Okay. Well, go
So
ahead. Akila, you live? All right.
I have a question, and to go back to your point, Stone, and also to Belinda and Marlene, but you guys breezed over counseling just a little bit. And so I'm curious, was that something that each of you taken advantage of in your marriage by seeking some sort of outside professional counseling to assist you with your marital matters prior to pulling the trigger and saying, hey, let's get divorced? Is that something that you did, or do you feel that if it was something that you could have done or would have done, that it could have possibly have prevented your divorce?
For me, I went to several counselors. So no, go ahead, Marlon.
So I'm gonna say this, yeah. The question is, right, did we exhaust our resources? That's how I'm taking the question. Between counseling, between God and church and friends and compromising. Yes, we did counseling, but it was a joke because the heart was not in it. It was more for show, and it was like 2 sessions, and I think he left halfway through the second one because he had an appointment. So it wasn't something that we really weren't trying to fix it. Our hearts were not in it, I will say. And it was very obvious. Now, if you know me, you know I do not quit easily. I will go through extensive measures to try to make something work. Okay, extensive. Even compromising myself, or even thinking about compromising myself and my beliefs. So when the divorce was filed, there was nothing within me that thought I can still do something to save this. I was very confident and secure in my decision of moving forward. Still didn't make it easy. Matters of the heart, broken heartness, and first marriage, and you go into it not thinking that it's not going to work. You go into it giving it your all. And I'm just going to sum it up to, this was a life lesson, and I'm just grateful and thankful that the lesson took just a span of 4 years versus 30 plus years that some people take to learn the lesson, or to be able to gather the strength to file for divorce, to go through the process. Saying I got divorced, like, unless you've gotten through it, you don't know the emotional strain. Yeah. You don't know all the paperwork that you have to, contribute. And I mean, it's so intrusive. But yeah, I will say that I felt very confident that I exhausted my resources to try to make that marriage work.
Belinda.
I'm sorry, I had to turn off my mic. We tried some years ago to attend counseling a couple of times, and he wasn't interested in doing the homework that was given to us, so that just told me he really wasn't interested. But we did have some other resources that we tapped into, like his friend, his spiritual advisor or friend or whatever, and it didn't really work. I don't think that he understood. I just think that in the moment he wanted to just fix it. It wasn't like he processed in a way where we got a clarification or understanding on how we was going to move forward and make the situation better or make our relationship better. I think, and I'm not just blaming him. I knew where I was at in my head, as far as wanting to, keep the relationship. And even the second time when things went south, I just thank God that he actually saved me from divorcing me, because he actually divorced me, and I'm so glad that he saved me in that way. I keep on saying that because if he did not divorce me, I probably would still be married today. because that's how loyal I am.
That's because you're faith.
That's how loyal. So me being, is that me? Is that me again?
You what?
I'm sorry. Okay, so I was so loyal that I would not have gotten a divorce, but because he divorced me, that's why I say he saved me, because it made me look good in God's eyes, you know, because I didn't want to be the one to say, and this is just real talk, I'm just telling you what I'm saying, because I felt like that's the way it should be. We should be married, we got married, we got to work this out, you know, through thick and thin, through sickness, through health, and all those things. I was with that. So because he said, he called it, I'm like, damn it, I won. And that's just the way I felt. I won. Okay, cool. So then when he left, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I could say I didn't do it. And that's what I felt.
So, yeah. So did anybody throw a party? Did you have a divorce party? I'm trying to figure out. Because we're going to have to turn this up. You know what I mean?
I should have.
Did you have a party? Did you invite your friends? Did you invite anybody from college? You know what I mean? Like,
it would have been off the chain.
Listen, I received more divorce gifts and well wishes and happy thoughts than I ever did for my marriage. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
But so yes, I got a couple of people together the day that I found out I was divorced. I got me a nice bottle of Dom P, had it almost basically to myself. Really? I'm okay with that. It was a celebration. It was a celebration of life and a new beginning, and just knowing that I was blessed to be out.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's definitely definitely a journey stone. I want to know, 25 years, the kids and everything, did you have a party? Did you have a party and everybody did the Smurf?
Well, to go back to because I thought that the topic you brought up about counseling is an interesting piece, like Linda and Marlene. I'm a true advocate about counseling. Like anybody I talk to that goes through problems in marriage or relationships or even personal, I always advise that counseling is the best thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But for me, what counseling will do is it expose some things about you that you might not want to see in or that other person. I don't know if we're getting that feedback again. I don't know if it's Belinda, your mic's still on. Oh, there we go. Belinda, you gotta cut that shit out. so listen.
We have to dark, y'all. We have to dark. What's up with it?
So listen, I tell everybody I'm a big advocate about counseling. My wife and I, 25 years ago, we went through a lot of counseling. But I will tell anybody out there that's in marriage that may be going through it, and counseling is a good key. I'm a 25. The reason why it lasted 25 years is because of counseling. Bear in mind, at 55, and I got divorced at 42, 43. I got married to her when I was 18. Oh, wow. And I was young. And we matured real quick. So, when you do that counseling, or even if you get married at 20-something, or you get remarried at 30, or some people get married in their 40s or 50s, you don't know, you don't know. And for me, counseling exposed not only a lot about her or the marriage, but me personally. So it allowed me, this is what I want to say, counseling, and when you get the right counseling, spiritual counseling, professional counseling, right, they give you what's called tools. Okay, certain tools that you just didn't think you had, or that you thought you had, but you learn how to navigate through certain things. And with that, for me, it helped me be a better person. It helped me for the next relationship. And again, I'm not perfect, but when certain things come up like they used to, I'm like, oh, my counselor said, and when I applied this, I didn't have those tools before. Now I have them. As far as the party, it's you heard the term, it's cheaper to keep her. So, when I got divorced, because we were high school sweethearts, I trusted her, and we have 4 kids together. So, when I got divorced, I said, you can have everything. At the time, we had one son that was young. I said, let me have the last child so I can raise him. He's, boy needs to be with a man. And I said, when I said you can have everything, I didn't think she took that literally. So, yeah, I didn't have a party. I didn't have anything at the party with. Had to rebuild.
So you guys have said something that's interesting to me. I think there's a couple of you that have said the resources. I didn't have the resources or didn't have the tools then that I have now. So I'm curious to know, and I think Belinda, you said something. I felt cheated. I felt shorted, of being that wife. And so, do you feel that there was something that you were lacking at that time that you have now? To be that wife, Belinda, or Marlene and Stone, what resources do you think that you didn't have then that you may have now, if in fact that is, your experience?
Well, for me, go ahead, Marlene. I'll let you go.
So for me, I appreciate it. So for me, the biggest tools that I didn't have back then was awareness. Awareness of why I made the choices that I made, why I was with the person that I was with, why I didn't give up. And so I'm much more aware now that when I see those red flags, done. There's no question. There's not going to be a time to just hang around and see if maybe it's just one flag, two. No, it doesn't matter. Right. It's the awareness, and then also having the courage to utilize my voice and take a stand and create those boundaries that I've always struggled with. Because I want to tell you right now, even up to the day that I got married, there was still conflict within my soul. And I remember asking so many people, and God placed so many people in my path. I'm talking about Uber drivers, people I was meeting at the airports. I was asking everybody and anybody, like, did you feel any type of way before you got married? Did you, because I was feeling something. And they're like, no, when you know, and if there's any hesitation, don't do it. And I'll tell you what, it would have been a lot cheaper. It would have cost me a lot less heartache to have taken that stand when I knew that relationship was no good versus going through it because I was unaware of so many things that I was allowing.
Right. I think that's a good point to talk about that hesitation prior to getting married, that intuition, that knowing that you were not doing the right thing. So Belinda or Stone, did you feel that way? Did you feel any apprehension or any hesitation or any doubt prior to marrying your ex-wife or husband that could have prevented all of this from happening in the first place? You can unmute, Belinda.
I was waiting for Stone.
Right.
Yeah, I did. I did, but I was so in the thick of it. Maybe you want to mute yours, Akila, and see what happens. But maybe, and then But I was in the thick of. I had invested so much time, I think, and we were so far along that to go back, I didn't know how to go back, if you will. I didn't know how to backstroke. I didn't know how to come out of it because it had been in it for like 5.5 years. We dated for 5.5 years, and it was time to get married. Belinda just wanted to get married, And when I was there, even at the altar, I cried like a baby and nobody understood. They're like, who is that crying? Like, golly. I mean, dang, who's crying? And it was me. I was boohooing like a baby. And they're like, this person was just all choked up.
Now, I have a question for you, though. Was it happy tears? Was it fearful tears? Was it what type of tears?
It was fearful tears because I wasn't sure, but I was there,
Yep.
And now that I'm dating, because this is what it's about, dating after divorce, right?
Right. We're gonna get there.
But now that I'm dating, it's a little different. I think that's what's really important too, and I just want for all the listeners to know that what's really important. And I know they probably say we know because people say it all the time. I think the most part of dealing with another person, period, is to just listen. You don't have to be the first to say whatever's on your mind.
Sure.
You don't have to be thinking ahead. All I think what's more important is just relaxing and listening to a person and really hearing what they are saying. Because if they're saying something, I think that's where the problem come in, as we're missing it because we already have in our mind what we want out of the relationship, or what we want to happen, or what we envision, and so we already think that that's who that person is because of something else. And when we look at that person, it's like it's not for the. I'm not saying it's for the wrong thing, but there is some things are being overlooked because you want that one thing. Because people are searching for certain things. People have criteria about what they want the relationship to be. Like the guy told me, I want a woman that cooks. So he's overlooking other important areas because he wants a woman that cooks. But
his ex-wife starving.
I'm not mad because I can cook.
All right. You just put that out there. And Stone, you got anything on that, Stone?
I'm just saying, real talk though. When you're listening to people, and sometimes it may take you a whole hour to listen. Never be in a rush to speak because you may catch it. You may catch what you need to know.
That's more important. Say be slow to speak and quick to hear.
Yes, sir.
And so I think that's really important.
To the original question about tools and what Marlene said earlier about red flags, and and everybody's different. And in respect to that, Marlene, I get it. But for me, I'm gonna tell you the tools that to the original question, the tools that I learned, it was more about me that I learned. And I think when I did counselings, because it was more than one, several that I went to, it wasn't so much about the spouse. It wasn't so much about the woman. At first it is, because that's what we do, like, her and she did, and I'm tired of this, and get her. And then she's doing the same thing. It's just all this finger pointing. But when I sit back and I open myself up, and I thought about the Lord's Prayer, and that one part, I always tell people, you ain't got to be a theologian, you ain't got to be heavy off into the word to know that one part in the Lord's Prayer where it says, "Thy will be done."
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let me figure out, let me see what His will is in me, and when I let it rest and open myself up to hear, hence the word, be slow to speak and quick, because I was saying, you, and then I wasn't hearing. And all too often in a relationship, we're so busy telling the other person we don't hear. So watch. In counseling, goes back to red flag with Marlene. The tools taught me more about me in the relationship and how much I can be a better man. Because if I wasn't born with this woman and I learned, even better, I meet her and we divorce. Now say I started dating Belinda Spears. I don't know Belinda at all. So the tools are saying to me, okay, when Belinda started talking about all this and talking about all that, and the hair start going, and you just worry about my cooking. So the tool says, well, let me see how I need to deal with this. Because before, if that happened, I would not handle that correctly. But then say something happened between me and Belinda, and I go to Marlene. So this is to your red flags. I might see red flags with you, Marlene. But see, your red flags are not like the red flags I had before. And your red flags sometimes can be inviting to me because it says, outside of some red flags, I still see, obviously I'm attracted to her. It might be something that she said that makes me say, hey, I want to start dating this woman. So red flags for me activates my tools. And it said, how much more can I be a better man to this situation? Because I might blow something because of one red flag. But I got all these other green flags and I'm missing out. So back to the original questions, tools for me in the counseling, although it didn't save my marriage, well, theoretically it did, because we started going to counseling after our 5th year. and went to counseling again after our 7th year. And, you know, and then several more times throughout it. So 25 years. So obviously counseling did something. But when that ended, here stands me by myself. Hence, my dad told me this when I was a kid, and I didn't know what the hell he was talking about then. I wanted to go outside and ride my bike. But he said, everywhere you go, there you are. So I had to learn real quick in those counseling sessions that, you know, no matter if it's Marlene, if it's Belinda, or if it's Akila, and I've dated, and you know, these things that work out, I still stand. And at the end of the day, and I've only had one marriage, and some people have 2 or 3, and I've talked to those people. I said, you had 3 marriages and 1 you. Who's the common denominator? What are you learning? So again, to your point, Marlene, the red flags for me, I don't, you know, I've had red flags after the marriage. You know, I've had red flags even in the relationship I'm in now. But I don't necessarily look into that as it being so much her as much as it is, how much can I change within myself? How much more can I be a better man to me? Because when she's gone or the next one's gone, here I stand. And to the point of our interview, life after divorce, how are you going to date if you don't have the tools to date? You know,
so would you
and
say?
So
I mean,
yeah,
guys,
I'm gonna go ahead and
go ahead.
I'll piggyback off that. So let's get to the topic, right? I am not dating. I'm not dating. I am not interested. Because I'm still healing. I'm still working on myself, analyzing myself, my decisions, and making sure that I see who I'm attracting and who I'm attracted to.
Word.
I am not at a position just yet that I can trust myself in making the right decisions for myself.
You 6 months out, right?
6 months.
6 months out. Yeah, you know, it sounds like, and I guess I want to find out, because each one of you guys have gone to counseling. It feels like if you went to counseling, the counseling is going to help you in your post life for dating. Mm-hmm. Would you guys agree or not? What do you feel about the counseling? Did you learn anything about yourself that you were going to change or make adjustments to in the dating world?
Well, I mean, I spoke on that earlier about, you know, the first part of going to counseling, you like, oh, fix the relationship, you know, or fix her, you know. So going forward, you know, God forbid if that didn't work or something else, I went to something else, the person that's still standing is you. So to your point, Quaylen, yeah, you know, I would encourage anybody that's going through counseling or considering counseling to go in it to not try to show that the problem is in the marriage or in the relationship with that person. Find out what the problem is about you, and hopefully that person you're going to counsel with is willing to do the same thing, because the change has to happen on both. Yeah. But you know, like I know, you know, Quaylen, you know, you're married, bro, and I'm knowing you. How long you been married? You've been married how long? 13 years. So without getting into your personal business, 13 years, just no way in the world you can convince me that you ain't gone through some problems. You have some problems. So at the end of all those things, the problems will exist until both of y'all figure out that, you know what, you say this, Quaylen, how much more can I improve in self? And then the spouse says the same thing. So in summation, again, the counseling for me, when I figured out that I had to figure out how to be a better me. Right now, at almost 55 years old, I still feel there's things I can grow in. I'm still a flawed man. I still feel there's things I can grow in. I really do. Some things I still got to grow. But sometimes it takes the next person or the next situation with that person to say, you know what? We did this many times, this many years, and I'm starting to see I don't want to do that no more. And sometimes in counseling, I've actually counseled people in my church for 6 or 7 years. Wow. Okay. Don't let that get out, because my phone will start ringing. But so here's what I said this to one couple. Saturday calls. They were busy saying, and she does, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And he and he does, and he does. I'm like, wow, okay. And then, they were just fuming. So I just said, here's what I would suggest. Y'all ready? And they said, yeah. I said, just stop it. And they cracked up. I said, but sometimes the simplicity of it all is just stop. And how do you stop? The way you stop at Quaylen, this first person you check is yourself.
Yeah.
And the other person got to check themselves. They came back a couple of weeks later and said, as funny as that was, Stone, we had to stop within ourselves, and we had to find what it was that kept polluting the marriage with that person instead of looking for. You can't control your wife. I can't control a human being. Look, Belinda, me and you was dating right now, and you was getting on my last nerve. You know that last nerve is way back here. There's nothing I can do to stop you. I can't control you. Marlene, same thing. 6 months in, say you came off your 6 months drought, and we started dating, but then you started getting on my nerve. I started getting on your nerve. You can't change me. I can't change you. But who can you change? Yourself. And the counseling showed me some tools how to do that.
Right. Right.
Amen.
So, Marlene, Stone, Belinda, am I still giving you guys bad feedback?
Yeah,
now?
go ahead.
Okay, so, well, Marlene, I know what your disposition is. You're not dating. You're still in the healing process or zone, if you will. I'm curious to know, and you want to forgive me, I didn't hear you. If you did say, you also, Stone, that if you had the opportunity again, or were presented with being married again, would you marry again?
Are you asking?
Yes, I would marry again. If the opportunity presented itself, I would marry again.
You know, I
Okay,
thank
that was
God
open-ended.
that whatever I've gone through, it has not killed my belief in a marriage when the two are equally yoked. That's the key for me. If you are not equally yoked, do not get married just to say that you're married. I think nowadays in society, if you're a 40-plus-year-old woman, I was right there, and not married, what's wrong with you? What do you mean, what's wrong with me? What's wrong? It's just a societal expectation. And I do believe that people get married just to say that they're married. And now, you know, they go through this experience, they have children that are watching this broken relationship, and the cycle continues. So, yeah, I still believe in marriage. I still believe in love. I just believe that you have to be equally yoked in order for a real relationship to be blessed and sanctified by God.
Well, let me ask this question, because I want to make sure my understanding of equal yoke is that of what we can agree on. Equally yoked to me, the way I read it, is that we both believe. We both believe in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We're both born again Christians. We both have the fundamental practices, and we're equally yoked that way. And am I understanding that correctly? Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say you make sure you're equally yoked, I was equally yoked with my wife, my ex-wife. She was a Christian. I've been equally yoked with other relationships because they were Christians. So when you say make sure you're equally yoked, I don't know if your husband was a born again Christian or not, then that would qualify what you're saying. But if you're saying he was a Christian and you was a Christian, but things happened and y'all didn't work out, that's not being equally yoked. That's just meaning there's an indifference and differences. He didn't work out with you, and you didn't work out with him. Because I know a lot of Christians that I won't marry. I've dated some Christians that things just didn't work out, but we were equally yoked, believers. Go ahead, Marlene.
So for me, equally yoked. Okay, so let me break it down.
Please break it down. She said break it down.
It's Tuesday after dark, Tuesday night.
Put the kids away. Put the blind down. Cut these lights off. Oh my gosh, I'm about to break it down. I'm about to cut the lights down.
So when I say equally yoked, I'm gonna say this, right? I can say I'm a Christian. I can say that I claim Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And Stone, you can say the same thing. Quaylen, you can say, everybody can say the same thing. Equally yoked to me is genuinely believing and practicing and being in the word and having the same beliefs. Just because you say you believe in God does not mean that you are following the word, does not mean that you're treating your wife as
Christ of the church,
the bride.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. So, you can say you're a Christian and still say that you want to have an open relationship and invite another woman in. You can say you're a Christian and still feel very comfortable with having outside relationships. You can say you're a Christian and still beat up your wife. You can say you're a Christian and still partake in all of these things. So when I say equally yoked, don't just tell me, right? You believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Okay, so
show me
so
as well.
Let me say this. All right. Since we're going now, let me break it down.
We're about to have church on a Tuesday.
No,
here we go.
So hold on, seriously, and respect, Marlene. You're making a lot of good points, but hear me out on this. All right. Bible says this: when I was a boy or a child, I did childish things. When I became a man, I put away those childish things, and I've done that. But sometimes I still act out. Meaning this, to your point. If I know I'm a Christian. I love the Lord. I absolutely know that I would not be here today had it not been for God being in my life. I promise you, just without getting into all that, coming from Detroit, and I promise you, if it was not for God, I would. So I'm always singing praise to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So watch this. Amen. But do I go out and give the word to people? Absolutely. Aquita is one of my, she watches one of my shows I do on Sunday. I'm a DJ by trade and do some other things, and I'll do a show. And we have a lot of fun. And every now and then we get a little crazy. We cuss. We act up. Does that mean I'm not a Christian? No, it means I'm human. So if I go out and I get into an argument with one of my boys, which I did some years ago, and I knock him out or he knocks me out, does that mean I'm not a Christian? No, it doesn't. It still means I'm a man. If I get in an argument with my girl and it gets to a point where we're elevating, and she yelling at me and I slip up and use the B word, which I don't, it happens. Or I may push her. Does that make me not a Christian? And I'm holding back the tears, man, because I've talked to so many people about this. I swear to God, it doesn't mean I'm not a Christian. It doesn't mean that we're not equally yoked. It just means I'm a man, I'm a human, and I'm flawed. And the reason why I'm going to tell you the same thing, Marlene, you're flawed too. Belinda's flawed. Q is flawed. Akila's flawed. And you're going to make mistakes, I promise you. Tomorrow, next week, next year, you're going to make mistakes. But watch this. And that does not mean you're not a Christian. And it does not mean you're walking as a Christian. It just means you're a flawed person. And everybody that's a believer knows there's no way you couldn't be flawed. Because if you wasn't flawed, why would we need him? We wouldn't. We would not. If we was perfect and we was all, I've said this to so many people, and I've been there before, we could be so heavenly minded and no earthly good. And that's what we hear. We hear right now. God has told us that our salvation, our blessings that he's bestowed upon us, is not about us. It's for us to be blessed, to be a blessing. So watch. I'm going to leave you with this when we get back to the show. I just feel God telling me this right now. The Bible talks about trials and tribulation, and I love when people screw it up. God's taking me through trial and tribulation. That's not what the word says. It does not say God's taking you through trial and tribulation. The Bible says he allows you to go through trials and tribulations. The key word in that scripture is through. Meaning what? There's a beginning and there's an end. Watch this. There's another scripture that says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, to present yourself a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. I'm going to tie these two together. You can't have a reasonable service of nothing unless you've gone through something. Hence the trials and tribulation. Your marriage, it's a trial and tribulation. Some things I've gone through in my life, it was a trial and tribulation. But here's the thing. Like I said, what was the key word in that scripture? Quaylen, through. Meaning there was a beginning, but Lord, there's an end. And when we get out of that end, we're like, oh, hallelujah, amen. Wow, thank you, Lord, for delivering me. It could be financial, marriage, whatever. But watch this, Marlene. When you gone through some trial and tribulation, anybody on this feed, did God put somebody, it may have been the next week, the next year, the next month, I promise you, everybody on here has experienced this. God put somebody in your life that went through the same, that's going through the same thing you got out of. You think that's by chance? No. Here's the other part of scripture. You can put your name there. I beseech you, therefore, Marlene, Belinda, Q, Aquila, to present yourself a living sacrifice. And he says, holy, acceptable unto God, which is now your reasonable service. So now your reasonable service is to show them how you got out that trial and tribulation. Hence, you're now a blessing because you got blessed. And the way you had to get blessed, you had to first be flawed. You had to go through something. So to go back to the point that your husband, if he was a believer and he made mistakes and he cheated, doesn't mean he's not a believer and he's not equally yoked. Because here's the thing, and I can confess, I cheated. I'm not proud of it. I did. I'm not proud of it. I got cheated on. Yeah. I'm sure they wasn't proud of it. But that doesn't mean they're not a believer. The person that cheated on me and me cheating on that person, she's a believer. She believes in the Lord. She's a God-fearing woman, but we're flawed and we make mistakes. So don't mean
Amen. I also will
just trip.
I will also say that for me, conviction comes into play. So,
amen to that.
If someone cheats, okay, it was a mistake, but where's the conviction? Are they continuing? Did they stop? Are they trying to, mend their relationship, or are they keep going?
You'll never know.
Well,
that.
I can speak for myself.
Yeah, within you.
There was no conviction. There was no conviction. So when I say equally yoked, I would not cheat. I would not step out in the marriage. I wouldn't do those type of things. And I forgave.
Respect.
I forgave the first time. I forgave the very first time that I knew. But what drove me over the edge was coming to find out a whole, another side to him and having a whole nother life while we were married. So if there's no conviction, I'm going to say we are not equally yoked because there is no fear of God.
Okay. So this discernment's going to play a role to help guide us. I think one of the things I want to know too from you guys is after the divorce, getting back to this topic of dating, what is your process? We talked about in previous shows as far as non-negotiables, like, what are you looking for? For Marlene, it's desire. Since you're not actively dating right now, you can still have the desire. Belinda, you said you're dating. So do you want to share, like, what is it that you're looking for, just after divorce, because you were once married? Because the people that are dating that were never married before, they don't have, that reflection. So what would you say?
I'm looking for a long-term relationship. But most importantly, I'm looking for, I know, for me, I'm looking for a nice guy. That's what I'm looking for. I want someone to be someone who can enjoy me, enjoy what I say, enjoy how I laugh, enjoy what I do. And vice versa. I can enjoy what he does. I can enjoy how he laughs. I can enjoy how he walks. I want to keep it simple. I don't want to make it as difficult as it was before. I don't want anything but simplicity. I don't need somebody who have a beautiful car. I don't need someone that has a beautiful home. I don't need anyone that has a whole lot of money. And I just need somebody that I can enjoy, spend time with. Yeah. Someone who could just make me laugh and I can woosah with. That's what I'm looking for.
Any desires for you, Marlene? What's your desire for dating?
I'm so fresh out of this that I will.
You have an imagination.
Very transparent and probably. Well, no, I'm just going to say.
Well, number one is equally yoked.
Yeah. Number one is
number one. Actually, so on top of that, number one, really, that's 1B. 1A is I need the man that I'm going to be with to love God more than he loves me. Period.
All right.
Because if he loves God, he's going to, again, not be perfect, but follow God's word and strive to treat his wife as the Lord treated the church, right? I'm solid on that because listen, I used to travel a lot for work. And you know how distracting that is to have in the back of your mind of having a partner that you're not really sure is, you know, being faithful and all that jazz. I need my partner to be, even if as much free time as he may have, he is loving God and fearing God. So he is not going to be doing anything to disrespect God, which means he's not going to do something to disrespect our marriage.
Word.
So that's number one. Yeah. But you know, the other things, what am I looking for in dating? I mean, it's companionship. It's, do you guys get along? What can I show you? What can you show me? And what do we already learn together? And how can we expand on that as well? I want to build an empire, right? Everyone says that, but if you have a partner that's really looking to do the same things, that's unity, that's teamwork.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know, and I'm going to reference back to Quaylen or Stone or Aquila. There's a Bible verse that says, you know, two are stronger than one, and because they get more work done and all that jazz. That's what I'm looking for.
Word.
So I have a question, because before you got married, I'm curious, did you pray to be married?
Cool.
I want to be someone's wife. I want to be someone's husband. Was that a prayer that you had in your heart prior to getting married? And now on the flip side of it, you're divorced and you desire to possibly be with another mate. So how has your prayer changed? I'm curious to know what you're praying for now and how you're praying for yourself to be a better wife, or, you know, when you're in the courting stages, you know, what do those prayers sound like? And then what are you praying for in your spouse? Belinda, I know you said you wanted a nice man. You want somebody that you can be in the company of and just be yourself and it just be easy breezy. And that's just paraphrasing it, Belinda. I know you desire, you know, a good mate. But what does that prayer look like now for you guys, having been married, now not being married, and knowing what you want? I think the prayer is something different for us, or for me, I should say, being single and desiring, you know, a mate going around the first go around for me. So what is that? What do those prayers sound like now?
I will tell you, right before I met my future ex-husband, I was praying to God, you know, going through a season of my life of, you know, successfully in my career. I wanted to shift focus. So I did ask God to open up my eyes, you know, to see someone if they did present themselves. And then I remember just asking God, and I'm talking about in Austin, Texas, on my knees, praying by my bedside, saying, God, until you present me with someone, I need you to wrap me with your loving arms. And soon enough, this person presented themselves. And what I didn't know then was I really needed to keep asking, who sent him? Who sent him? Did God send him? Did the devil send him? Those are things I did not ask. I was just presented with someone. I was like, oh, here we are, right? We have X, Y, and Z in common. Now, what I pray for. And again, I'm just off 6 months fresh. I pray for God's will. Whatever he wants for me, whomever he wants for me is what I want. I learned the hard way. When I say God had to knock me all the way down because of my stubbornness, and I mean all the way down, I am no longer praying for what Marlene wants. I want what God has planned for me.
I want to test that and ask you a question. What if he just got like one eye in the front of his head? You know what I mean? But he's like, Marlene, I love you, girl. You know what I mean? I want to make you laugh like I made, you know, like Belinda said. You know what I mean? Like, What you gonna do when you got one eye and a, you know,
Marlene starts saying,
walk with a
"That
limp."
you got?"
Right.
Is that you?
And he got like a biblical name. You know what I mean? His name is like Samuel. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do when that happens?
Listen, again, we are more than our physical beings.
All right.
And I have gone through such a turmoil situation in my life that it has made me come to realize, first of all, our looks, they're going to fade. Do you have to be attracted to someone? Absolutely. But if God presents me with a one-eyed pirate guy with, you know, a patch over his eye and he loves the Lord,
recite the Bible front to back.
I'm good. I am good. I mean, come on, I see some of these. You see some of these relationships that, you know, partners in a wheelchair while the other one's fully functional, and yet they're getting married. Why?
Yeah, put some brakes on it. Keep it pushing.
Yeah, they got that simple love that Belinda was talking about.
You know what? I'll be honest. To that, yeah. You know, real talk. Physical matters to me to an extent because that's where it starts. My wife over the years changed, and because my love for her was so deep, the weight gain or whatever she was going through, I just didn't see it anymore. But in the beginning, when you don't know anybody, I'm gonna keep it 100. God made me a certain way. I don't know about the rest of y'all on here, but I ain't gonna holler at you if I see you with one eye. You know. If she come my way, I'm like, hey, that ain't God. That's Satan be gone. So you know, the first thing I see, and I'm not trying to be, you know, insensitive or cynical. I'm just, for me, the way God created me, He created me to see certain things. He made guys physical. As I've gotten older or mature, I should say, because it started when I was younger. You know, the intimacy, you know, the mental part was very important as it is now, and even more so. You know, doing the things that I do in a stepping game and the boardroom, DJing, you know, I'm in the public eye a lot. And I can't tell you how overwhelmed I am with the inboxes and so forth. And it's a trip for me when you see these women and the aggression is changed a lot, Quaylen. Women are very forward, you know, they're very forward. But the maturity in me, I can see the beauty, but then I'm like, you know, been there, done that. But at the same time, when you're talking about relationship, you know, unlike Marlene, respect Marlene, you know, if she has one eye, one leg, and all that stuff, you know, I might not look her way, and she might be the one. She might be deep in the word and all of that. I won't see that. You know, she's gonna have to have some teeth and, you know, and eyes and all that. You know, maybe dimples. I don't know.
Well, you know, when God
we'll see the rest later.
Yeah, God's into blessing. You know what I mean? So He knows what we can handle, what our capacity is.
Yeah.
So
you know, you made me a certain way, Quaylen. I mean, you know, I'm gonna put you on a spot. I mean, this is the real talk. If you wasn't married, real talk. If you wasn't married right now and you was on a dating scene, just, you know, we the only two guys on here. Sometimes I feel like we're alienated.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, God made guys a certain way. God made women certain ways. You know, bless Marlene for her spirit. Bless Belinda who wants happiness and all that. But if you was a single man
I'm
right
just
now,
still 6 months out. Okay, I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. I just want what God wants.
I'm already ready to answer the question already, bro. Say it. Go ahead and say it. Ask me the question.
Hey, Q, if you was single, man, and you know, let's just say, you know, Akila came your way. Akila's a beautiful woman, but she just had one eye, dog.
Oh, but her teeth, though. You see her teeth? Her teeth white.
That's what I'm saying. She got one eye,
her teeth
dog.
white. Every show I gotta say something about her teeth. Shout out to her orthodontist. Her teeth mad white.
You know what I'm saying?
She made me want to wear my mask, my corona mask.
Well,
coronavirus mask.
Say she had one tooth missing and one eye.
Stay on topic.
She's intelligent. She's really intelligent. She's good at business.
But you don't know that.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that when we talk about things, everybody's at a different place, you know, in understanding, you know what I mean? And we're all at a different place in our faith and what we are willing to try to see God in, you know what I mean? And so, like, for Marlene to say that she would be able to welcome that, you know, that takes a lot of, trust and faith, to be able to see through those things, because we do see the flesh first. You know what I mean? But God could do all kind of things with different people. And so to me, it's getting to a point where, like what Belinda was saying about having somebody to be able to laugh, that simple part, like you lose the simplicity, you know what I mean, when you're breaking up with someone. There's all the stuff that is simple. It's faded. It's faded. You kind of forget your favorite songs, you know what I mean? You kind of forget your memories, the stuff. And so to make that, like a starting point, I kind of like think that the simplicity of it is something that you gained in wisdom, I believe, through counseling and possibly just walking through that, divorce, having that final piece is gaining wisdom to saying what is simple. And Marlene's saying, and it's not Marlene's asked probably for the biggest thing, you know what I mean? In regards to, a man who's going to love God more than they love you. And because men are, we're struggling, loving God. And that's why, for me, I make a point to push the brothers, because I think we could do a lot more loving God. We would have a lot more women that are not divorced, but that's another show perhaps.
Well, I do have a question for Stone and Belinda. Where are you guys dating? How are you dating? What platforms?
Yeah, y'all in the pandemic. How y'all doing that?
I don't remember saying I was doing
online.
that.
Like, I'd like to know these things.
That's a question for Belinda. I didn't say I was dating. That's a question for Belinda. She's the hot commodity right now.
Speak on it, Belinda.
Go on, Belinda. No, break it down, Belinda.
I've been dating using the sites, like dating sites, and I've been just having a great time because I don't have this broad expectation with like some people have, like you can have right. You can have just one eye, or right. You can be under 6 feet. You can, because like I was like one guy I was talking to just recently, he was saying how he didn't want an obese woman.
No, he what? I'm sorry, Belinda.
And now he doesn't want a woman that's obese.
Okay.
So he was saying the things that he didn't want with a woman, but then when we met, he had a lot of things that was I didn't want, either, And I'm like, I noticed that a lot of men always say the women is always the ones that's always letting things go or being okay with certain things and saying that, okay, you don't have to be 6 feet. You could be 5'10" or 5'11". That's okay. We'll work on that. And even though we consider it short, we'll go ahead and do that. Or you can have one big lip and one small lip, or some people will even say that even if the sex is not all that good, let's just say we'll deal with that. But what I believe is that not until you get in your 60s is when you start changing your ideal of what kind of woman you want. All those things that you say now that you want, it changes when you turn 60 and stuff, because things that you had going on for yourself at 50, 40, 55, it changes and stuff. Your look, your sex drive, and all that. So then, because you're not coming 100%, then now you have to change your ideal of what kind of woman you want in order to even get one in the first place. So then when you look back and you roll back the time and look at what you wanted at that time versus what you want now, is not about what you want, is what you need. It's really what you're really talking about is what you need, because you can't get what you want. So now you got to get what you need, and now the whole song and dance sound like a whole different program. It sound like a whole different program, because you're like, is this the same person? Because I mean, what happened? What happened is that you got older, you got mature, you got wiser, you got broke, you got whatever it may. We have some changes, and some of the changes are drastic. When you get older, those changes are very, very, very drastic. And you can't. The thing about getting old, this is the unfortunate part. You can't unring the bell. Check that. You can't unring the bell. So you're going to have to work with what you got. So you have to remember when you say what you say and stuff, and you got people listening to what you're saying and stuff like that. You know, some people don't forget, because a lot of times when we think we're just talking, and this is just all I'm saying, when we think we're talking, people out there with different things that's going on in their lives and stuff. They're feeling different ways and stuff. You got people on there that's been divorced. You got people on there that's dating right now, and they're all listening and they're all taking heed to what we're saying and things like that. And we could say the smallest thing, just like I said, I don't like mean guys. I don't like mean guys. I don't like cocky guys and stuff. I really don't. I don't like that. I don't like to feel like that. I don't like my heart to beat fast and slow with the moves and things like that. I just really don't. And stuff, even if you don't say the right thing. So when we say what we say and stuff to really encourage people and to be an encourager and stuff, then we got to be careful of what we say and stuff. And I'm just saying about me and stuff, because I know that's why I mentioned listening and stuff, because I have to listen now, because I was really bad at that at one point and stuff. I was really bad at that. So now I listen, and I have a little bit of empathy of the listeners and stuff, or who I'm talking to, even with my clients and stuff. I'd be careful, because they'll take one little thing, because I said I didn't like mean guys, and they'll direct it towards them and say, oh my God, am I that? And no, you're not that. I'm not really talking about
that's
you.
Miss Belinda, bruh. After she just ran it off like that, I'm just want to give her one of them poetry. That's Miss Belinda. Give Miss Belinda her respect.
I'm just saying, because I'm not talking about you, and then a lot of times people take it personal. That's all I'm saying. But when you get to that age and stuff, because I'm 57, okay? I'm 57 and stuff, and I'm getting ready to hit that mark and stuff. And I got to be careful of what I want right now and stuff. You know, it's not about what you want, what she want, what he want. It's about what Belinda wants. If I'm gonna be satisfied with what I'm gonna be satisfied with, that's what I'm gonna be satisfied with. But what I won't do, I won't reject anybody for looking a certain way if that's what they look like. And I'm just saying for me, because I don't know if I may be with my eye out. I don't know if my teeth may fall out. You know, I don't know if they get in a car accident. There's nothing they can do about Belinda's ear, because she got one ear and stuff. Now what am I going to do? Now I didn't want nobody with an ear. I didn't want nobody with one eye out. Can somebody accept me? God, please bring somebody who will want me. So I just be careful with what I say, because you may just get it. That's it.
All right. So let me ask you this, Miss Belinda.
Yeah.
To your point, when you say you get to a point, respect to everything you said, you broke it down. But one of the things you said when you opened up your statement, you were saying that you get to a point where, you know, almost like you're settling, and you have to accept certain things, because now you said you don't like mean guys, and I'm not a mean guy. You don't like mean guys, you don't like cocky guys. I'm a nice dude. But say you get to the point, and that's all you're attracted right now is mean guys. But the mean guy or somewhat cocky guy has all these other things. Are you saying you would just pass just because? I mean, now you're 60, and everything else about he looks good to you. Like, okay, this dude looks kind of good, but he's a little mean. And you know, I like the way this dude he does poetry, but he's a little cocky. And you know, we like the same movies, but you know, you still got that little mean streak, and everything else is wrong with you. Going back to what you said, to the point you start getting to a point where you start accepting certain things. So do you think you ever will accept a mean or a little, maybe a cocky guy?
No, I won't, because it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous, because when you talk about mean, that's different than talking about somebody with one eye, or that's different than talking about somebody who just simply can't cook and stuff. When you talk about mean, you got to get ready for abuse. You got to get ready for abuse. You got to get ready for a lot of hardship. You got to get ready for disrespect. You got to get ready for a whole lot of things that's involved in stuff. And I've watched and I've seen it too much and stuff. I teach domestic violence, and I already see it's the cycle of violence. You're the honeymoon period. Now I'm nice. Now I'm showering you with gifts. Now I'm back snapping. Now I just don't want. That's what I'm talking about. The influx going back and forth, my heart beating and stuff, because that person is unstable and it's making me unstable when I'm really not unstable. I'm really balanced in my life and stuff. I'm really mentally healthy. Amen. But now I got this person who's off, and he's going back and forth. Now I adopted some of his craziness, and now I'm mean. Now I'm unstable. Now I'm saying things that I wouldn't normally say and stuff. Right. So I got to be conscious. I got to look out for that. It's a red flag. It's a red flag and stuff, and I don't want to be hurting more. So it's easy for me because I'm from LA and stuff, and I've dated all kind of men and stuff like that, and just dealing with people and stuff. I already know at my age, I already know what I want. And I don't want.
So you're talking about that level.
Giggle with me. If you cannot giggle with me or laugh with me and stuff, then I don't want to be bothered. Because see, when you start laughing with me, that tells me I can see kindness and stuff. That tells me that somebody's in peace with themselves. That shows me harmony and stuff like that. Because a lot stems from laughing, and a whole lot stems from being mean too.
See, now with respect to what you do for a living as far as domestic violence. I know that takes a lot. I've seen a lot of people go through that, but see, I wasn't at that level, so we'll divert from this question, but I wasn't even talking about that level. When I say mean, I've been around mean people that just doesn't get along with people. They may be a little cocky, but not at that level you're talking about of violence.
But that's how far it goes.
Completely.
Yeah, that's how far it goes. That's why I'm saying.
It sounds like, Belinda, you're saying that is your non-negotiable. That is one of your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
While you're dating,
that's your
mean people.
Yeah. Because I don't even understand why, if you're at 60 or you at anywhere over 50, why would you be mean? You should be happy. You lived your life. You made it to 50. You know what I mean? You're smart as hell. You got your stuff together. Everything is good about you.
Belinda, we need to write music together, Belinda. That's what we need to do. I love where you at. You're
the winner. So
she said get your mental health together.
You ever heard the term grumpy old men?
Yeah, all the time.
I think I might get to that stage.
And I just chalk it up as that they're in pain or something. They must be aching, their leg, arthritis, something and stuff. Because when a man could be grumpy and old and mean, that means something's got to be wrong. We need to find out what it is. Because at our point in life, we should be so happy.
Man,
we have it going on. We have it going on at 50.
Well, I'm wake up tomorrow happy. I'm gonna be happy in the mug from here on out. Melinda broke it down.
Yeah, well, I actually think there's something about age. You should have wisdom. There's certain things that you should be able to deal with, a lot better than you did when you experienced those things in your 20s and 30s. So, to a point, that's like a weighted response. Just to say laughing. And to not be mean, because you said all the things that stems to. I'm like, that is really a lot more than, it's not as simple as it is. You know what I mean? Because all the things that are connected to being able to laugh, and being able to connect, because
can we raise our glass to Miss Belinda? Everybody.
Yeah. I'm gonna just. I gotta get Belinda the Belinda.
Respect, Belinda.
Miss,
cheers.
Yeah, MS
Cheers.
Belinda.
Man.
So. Akila, did you have something you want to throw in? We can't hear you. Are you muted?
Can't hear you.
Hey.
You're muted.
You're muted or something.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Well,
can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
So I'll ask another question, I guess. So we have a one of our viewers says, I love that Belinda. That's Stacy. What up, Stacy? So dating, you said sites. Are you going to Christian sites? I know Tinder's out there, Match.com. I don't know the rest of them, but and is that something that you recommend for somebody who's been married and divorced?
Well, in COVID right now, I think that's the best way. You can't get out and stuff. So a lot of people don't want to be lonely. A lot of people, they live alone and stuff like that. And in living alone, it brings on depression, it brings on anxiety and stuff, and it's a good way to kind of extend yourself and talk with people, whether it's good and bad and stuff. Because the way I see it is that it's almost like going to a concert. You go to the concert and say, "Oh, I went to that concert and it was off the hook." You come back home and you relax and stuff. Then you go to another concert, or you eating the fruit. Today I'm gonna eat an apple and tomorrow I'm eating an orange, and then you're cool. So I think that is a good way to meet people, and you find out a whole lot about people because you can't make that connection, that physical connection. You can't hold hands, you can't kiss. You don't have to look in somebody's eyes and watch them bat them or watch them turn their mouth, and you don't have to look at their teeth and all that stuff. Yeah. You can really hear what they're saying. That's the part where the listening part come in. And then when you know them, and when they show up, and then they may have that big beer belly, or when they may have that one eye, and then you can accept, you can move past that because you've already had a conversation that really just rocked your boat, and you could like, yeah, I'm cool with that. I get it. I hear you. You know, so yeah, I think they should.
So I have a question for Stone.
Oh shoot,
Stone. So you know, with that being said, and what Belinda just said, right? You said earlier that maybe we could be missing out when we see one red flag and we're like, we're done, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think you could be missing out because of that physical appearance with having a woman with one eye? I feel like it goes the same way, right? You're like,
I agree.
Nope.
I agree.
She has one eye.
You went there, brother. You went there.
And yeah, she would be like,
you need me to bail you out? Let me know if you need me to bail you out. I got you.
Marlene,
I got you. Just let me know if you need me to bail you out.
Hey, Marlene, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna ask you to re-ask that question because Q being stupid. Q said eye candy.
Let me know if you need me to bail you out. Go ahead and ask him again because I'm here to help you. You know what I mean? I am my brother's keeper. Ask him again.
You clapping
I'll
too.
ask you again, okay?
All right. Like you said something about the one eye, his food, talking about eye candy. Okay, go ahead.
There is a point that you made, right? That if we see like a red flag and we cut off someone immediately, it's because we might be cutting somebody off that has 20 green flags versus one red flag, but because of that one, we may be missing out. So I'm gonna flip that to you. You think you're gonna be missing out on someone that could be rock solid for you, but she has one eye, so you're like, pass. I don't need a pirate. I'm good.
No, that's a good question. And here's the thing, and to that, I wouldn't know if I would be missing out. And this is me keeping it 100. Yeah, I am attracted to a certain type of, well, I should say I'm attracted to certain type of women. As I've gotten older, you kind of like what Belinda said earlier. I was like, I want a woman that got all this and all that. And as I've gotten older, it's not that I have to compromise. I don't. It's just like certain things don't matter anymore. I don't care if you just got a bomb body. I don't care if you fly as this or you think, you working with the bomb WAP and all whatever that stuff. Who cares? It does matter what you're, the what's inside. Let me give you an example right now. I'm gonna get to the one eye stuff. I was having a conversation with my boys before. We've had this conversation a lot. I say, you heard the song WAP, and they say, well, older women got that WAP babaloo bop. Because young women got the WAP. So why is this? So you start thinking about it because men are sexual, women are sexual. And I've always looked at it like this, and I premise it like this. What happens after? Let's say, give you a hypothetical. Say we're getting it in for about an hour. Good session. Okay, it was bomb. We had a great, sex session. But then when you're done, now what? So let's talk about that's kind of like the one-eye syndrome. So she could be all bomb, because I'm not looking for the one-eye chick, but I'm looking at the bomb chick. And me and her just had this bomb session, and now we're done. So when the done happens, you're like, okay, now what? When you have that now what moment, you don't have the now what. It's like, well, then why not even bother? Because then you find out outside of what you were looking at, she's bomb and all that, and this was good. What really matters, because that 1 hour session, you got 23 hours left in the day. So who are you in that 23 hours? All this was happening right here. Now I didn't got it. I didn't got that WAP, or in my case, I didn't got the WAP babaloo bop because it's old and shit. I'll take that anyway. So I got all that.
1 hour?
So here we go. I was just trying to be nice. Hey, Belinda, don't start with me. Let me get close to this camera. Don't you start with me. Don't start with me, Belinda.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Put it this way, Belinda. Put it this way, I'm not going to put everything out there. I'm just going to say just enough for now. So anyway, all that said, so now you think about outside of that how good she looked and how you thought she was going to be in the bed and blah, 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 blah. Now you got that hour, and Belinda's 2 hours out the way. So now you got 23 hours, 22 hours left in the day. Who is that person? Well, that 1 hour person may be that 22 hours that I might not know. So it's two phases to that. To your point, would I be missing out? I don't know if I would. Kind of like this. I've never been to Wyoming. And somebody can say, oh, Stone, you're missing out. It's like, Wyoming's off the chain. They got it cracking out there in Wyoming. But I'm never going to Wyoming. So I wouldn't know if I'm missing out. It's not even on my radar. I wouldn't even look that way. And so somebody would tell me, like, dude, you missed all kinds. But I wasn't even looking at Wyoming. So same thing here. If I'm looking at a certain type of women, and I'm not race, I'm not saying that, but if I'm looking at a certain type of woman, like short women, and if they're not short and they're all tall, and the tall one, got one eye, but she might be everything that I need, but I'm not looking at tall women. So this is the type of woman I'm looking at. So that one-eyed chick, no disrespect to people, anybody out there that's listening that got one eye,
I know. You're right.
No
disrespect.
You're right.
You're saying that you're looking for an hour worth of chick.
So I'm saying, unless and here's the caveat. So watch this, Q. You watch how I flip it for us men. I'm not gonna look that way. Watch this. And I'm always gonna keep it 100.
Okay.
If something was to just so happen that one-eyed chick came in my path, and a conversation came up that intrigued me. Remember we talked about that hour, that 2 hour that Belinda rocking with in her world. I can't mess with Belinda.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden that 23 hours is happening before the physical. So I'm like, well, what is this one-eyed chick talking about? Okay, hold on. And then she starts to spark my interest. Keep in mind, I'm not looking that way, but it came in my path and something happened. We could have been in a meeting, and something she said. I'm like, okay, this one eye. We got a name. Let's name it Jane. Jane. We don't just keep saying one eye. Let's just say Jane. With Jane, so everybody's out to listen got one eye. Okay, so we done with the one eye thing. So let's just say Jane came into the path, but everything now is sparking me. So now it works in reverse. So where most of the time we're trying to see, how far we could take this with this girl because we attracted to her and all that. Now what's working for me is the intellect. What Jane brought to me. Now, as time goes on, that one flaw, and this is to your point, Marlene, I don't even see, no pun intended, I don't even see that anymore. I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily see that she don't have, you know what I'm saying?
That I'm Jane. That I'm Jane.
And I'm being 100% because, like I said earlier, when I was a child, I did childish things. When I became a man, I put away those childish things, and I start to see more of what's important. To what Belinda said, and it's true. Listen, you see all this. I didn't have this before. All this gray. I used to have a whole lot of hair. I didn't. I'm still physically fit to an extent, but I'm not where I used to be. So I don't even trip. I don't get how my own supply. I don't give a thing about how I look.
So I got a question. I have a question for another question for you guys. So divorced, if the person that you come in contact with been divorced like 3 times, red flag?
Yep. I wouldn't say red flag. I know.
What's the limit? 2 times? Like, what's the limit?
Should there be? Until you die, that should be the limit.
Do you find out
I know
like what happened
right now that's in their 4th marriage and they're happy. Right now in their 4th marriage. So I don't. How do you put a limit on that? I've been through a lot of relationships.
To your point, it's the same thing. You may be capping somebody off, right? So are you going to just knock them out because they've been married 3 times? Or are you going to talk to them to see what substance may be there? Or are you just going to cut it off?
Yeah.
I think that a person who's been married 3 times, I wouldn't want to have absolutely nothing to do with them. because absolutely zero, because it tells me that they're very flippy minded and they're always jumping to get married to do something drastic. And it's very drastic for somebody to get married because that's a serious thing for me.
Right.
And then every time you turn around, you're getting a divorce, you're getting married, you're getting a divorce, you're getting married. That's almost like bipolar to me. And I didn't want to use that term, but and this is just the way I feel and stuff. And I hope nobody hold that against me. But getting married, getting divorced, getting married, getting divorced and stuff, that's somebody who doesn't take the time to really think about what they want, and they're searching and they're searching and they're searching for that person that they're not getting, and it never turns out because they still not getting what they need. Instead of setting in with what they're dealing with and dealing it front on, facing it front on and working that situation out. But it sounds like to me somebody's dropping the ball and saying, this is not working for me, let me find somebody else. This is not working for me, let me find somebody else.
But it don't necessarily have to be that. So say, for example, me, I was married 4 times. But the person I married to, the one time, we were both married 1 time. The second time I got married, that person was married 1 time with me. The third time I got married, that person was married 2 times. Or the 4th time. It doesn't necessarily mean that that person, the common denominator being me, got problems. It can mean the other person, or I just didn't work. Because listen, at the end of the day, real talk, outside of the people that's on this feed, here's a literal fact. There's billions of people on this planet.
7
billions. So if I got 4 times around and God still may give me another day, he's granted me a gift of life to have to see another day. Not saying that I'm going to spread myself thin and be with a billion women. I still have an opportunity, but it doesn't make that person. And I'm riding with you on a lot of things you're saying, Belinda. But I can't agree on it. You can't say that person's messed up. It might just be that situation, maybe the time, maybe a season. And we've heard the term, you're in this relationship for a season, or you're going through this for a reason, or you may be in that person's life where it may not work out for you. Maybe it was what that person needed for that time. Maybe God has you doing this for a reason. Let's keep in mind the children of Israel was, they was in the wilderness for 40 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy that. I wouldn't buy that because marriage is not that simple. Marriage is not for a season and for a reason. You can't think of it. That's just like juggling balls. Marriage is for a season. Marriage is for a reason. You can't play with marriage like that. It's serious.
I'm not saying play with it.
And now, if you said to me that the first husband, if I said to you, I was married before, but my first husband, he died. Okay. And then I got married again because I wanted to be married and stuff, but my husband walked away from my marriage. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then this third time I got the divorce. Okay. So really in my mind, what it's telling me is that third time really was your first time getting a divorce, because the other 2 marriages.
You just made my point.
What I'm saying is what I'm really saying is somebody who's not clear about what they want in life, and they think that this person let's go back to
the person who's not clear could only be married 1 time, man.
Let me just give you an example about let me just give you an example about the 1 hour that you was talking about, and the 23 hours you threw to the wayside because you was only interested in that hour. Okay, and that's the way I see when if a person is married. If a person is married and they're going through relationships and stuff, and you're telling me that I don't really value marriage to the degree where I want to stay married, I can just keep jumping from one marriage to another marriage to another marriage because I don't have any value, nor do I have respect for marriage and stuff. And if I'm only looking at this 1 hour, I really don't care about the 23 hours and stuff because I've never been there. I don't know what that's like until I get there.
Well, let's not misquote me. I didn't say that I was looking for that 1 hour. I just said that in that case, it may happen, but let's get past that. I want to make sure that to your point about the 4 times, you're making my point because the question was, if a person's been married 4 times, does it raise a flag? And then you immediately say, oh yeah, because that person is, and now you're breaking down where you're making my point because you don't know what happened in those 4 times. That 1 time, like you said, that dude could have died.
Yeah.
The second time, he may have just walked away. So it may have been different circumstances. To your point, that's now making my point. You can't say just because they were married 4 times. Why were they married? You just can't automatically throw up a first that because listen, Belinda, let's just hypothetically. Okay. You're my fourth one, and I'm funny, and I'm not mean, and I make you laugh, and I can give you 2 or 3 hours, and everything we do is blissful. But you're my fifth one. Why would you shun me away? To Marlene's part, you got the red flag up. But why would you look at that red flag that I've been married 4 times when I might just be that one?
Because you know why?
Same thing.
Can I answer that? Let me tell you why. I need to say red flag. I'm gonna tell you why, Stone. My red flag may not be Marlene's red flag. Everybody have different red flags. What she's valuing, what she's looking at, may be different than what I'm looking at. I may be okay with whatever she's calling a red flag. You know, so it's just depending on what I'm looking at, and I may be able to buy into whatever that is that you're doing that she may not even be interested in. You know.
Stone, I have a question for you. Does it matter how Jane lost her eye? Is that going to change things for you?
Good question. Good question.
Does it matter?
I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing that Belinda was saying.
Does it matter how Jane lost her eye, right? You're like, I ain't gonna look at someone that has one. Well, we're talking about 4 different divorces, 4 different scenarios, and what led to those, right? I'm just asking. You're saying I wouldn't want to like mess with someone with a. Would it matter how that person lost their eye? What if they were like saving a baby from something? You know what I mean? I'm just asking.
Well, no, and again, I think I cleared that. We're going to go with her name is Jane. So Jane. If she, and I think we settled the whole one eye thing. So again, you better stop it, Quayle.
Well, you know what? I want to say something. I want to say something to help us out because I think probation. That person that's got 4. You're in a probation period. I need to see what's going on with you. You know what I mean? And there's a comment here that I see from Stacy. She says, "Seek to understand the circumstances. Don't judge fully on the number or the number of eyes." I added that last part in there, but I do think that there is a part of, you know, since you've been married, since you've been through a thing, to Belinda's point and everyone's point is in regards to how serious marriage is, you don't want to do that again. You know what I mean? And then, you know, if that person's been through things, you don't know what they've been through. You know what I mean? To get to that divorce. So the question is, now that you're dating, right? You had your life before you got married, right? What is your approach in the dating world? Last week we talked about sex and when is the right time? Is there a probation period now? But is it because now we're of age now, like we have a shorter, you know, time span with regards to our probation, you know, period to engaging in whatever, you know, we're talking about intimacy, you know, what is that once you've been married? You know what I mean? At the same time, I think there's a consensus of everyone on this show is Christian, but where are you at? You know what I mean? And do you believe in a probation period to find out and to discern?
No.
Well,
it goes back to, I mean, every person that you meet, you know, somebody has something to offer. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier in the show about counseling or finding out who you are. You can, again, to Belinda's point and as well as Marlene's point, red flags and then 4 times and whatever the case may be. If you get to that 4th marriage or that person that's been married 4 times, some people look at that and say, oh, that person's been through it. And if you know, the 5th time might be a charm. I know the term is 3rd time is a charm, but you just don't know. But what is true for me, when you talk, and it's still about the probationary period. While you're on probation, a probationary period with that person, me personally, I would say you need to be on a probationary period with yourself first. And that probationary period, I'm actually talking to a couple right now, and I was telling the female of the couple, I'm like, listen, can you be happy with yourself? I think you're worrying about, you know, this man or the the next man you meet trying to make you happy. Me personally, I'm with a woman because I want to be, not because I have to be. If I'm not with a woman, I can go be happy by myself. I bowl, and when I go bowling, I can go bowl by myself. I'm a great bowler, and I can be happy. I can go to the movies by myself. I can actually go sit in a restaurant, which I do constantly, and I'll have breakfast by myself because I can make myself happy. But when I get a woman, we talk, because I've been on a probationary period to deal with self. And I know how to make myself happy. I find value in myself. I see what God has blessed me with, certain thing. I can go right over here to to the left of me and get on my ones and twos and and next thing I know, it's 5 hours and going by, and I've been playing with my music all day because I'm on probation before I put somebody else on probation. So the probationary period for me, when it goes back to what Belinda's talking about, 4 discs and then the red flags for Marlene, I think I'm able to deal with that more because the tools that I got over the years, the experience that I've been in with a marriage in 25 years, and the relationship that I've had after that. To me, that's as we talked about age, because you brought up age too, Quaylen. When do you get to a point? At 55 for me, I'm still going on probation. I'm still putting somebody through a probationary period. If I don't know what the hell I want right now at this age, I just don't need to be with nobody at all, period. Right. So I don't really believe in the probation. You should know yourself enough to when you meet somebody else, you're going on a dating scene, what you're looking for. And if you don't, instead of putting that relationship on any kind of probation, you need to go on probation. Go find out who you are. Find out what you bring into the relationship. Go date yourself. Exactly. Instead of trying to find something in that, well, I'm going to put this, I'm going to put Marlene on probation. I got to watch for this. No, you don't. At 55 or 50 anything, and wasn't it, Belinda says she's 57, respect. Anybody in their 40s, real talk, in my opinion,
wisdom, but don't these experiences though, and ladies chime in as well. I mean, does the divorce help you to establish boundaries? I called it probation, but to establish boundaries.
For me, divorce really outlined what my non-negotiables are. That's what it did for me. I know moving forward what I don't want, what I will tolerate, what I can compromise, but more than anything, it's what I do not want. Can't hear you, Akila.
Boundary Stone or Belinda, you can while she's getting.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Belinda jump in on this one. Akila, get your stuff together, man.
When you speak about probation, exactly what are you referring to? Like probation?
Well, I restated it in a different way because I think probation to me is the period of time where you're kind of like trying to see if this person is who they say they were online. You know what I mean? Who they said they were over the phone. Okay. That takes some time, right?
Right.
You love your kids. You really love God. I mean, like, how do you move? But I used it. Then I restated it by asking, did divorce help you to establish boundaries? Boundaries for other people, right? Because what you won't do, right? And then boundaries for yourself, because sometimes you're coming out of something and you might have like gone too far to the left or to the, there's certain things you adjust, as Stone was saying, you realize through time and through counseling. And then what are some things, because somebody's watching this that may not have set some boundaries. So if you have any insight to that.
Yeah, I personally, I have boundaries and I have probation periods and stuff. I have restrictions. I have green lights. It's just depending on the situation. Because I've assessed myself and I looked at the situation. I looked at what I did in the marriage and what I don't want, but what I could have did better. Because it's not just about what he did, is what I did to make him do what he did. So I'm looking at all the angles and stuff to see how I can make myself a better person. So when I deal with the next person, should I move faster? Should I move slower? So depending on how that person come to me, I'm only going to give you what you give me. That's what I decided I was going to do. I'm only going to give you, I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to go too much. I'm just going to be patient enough so I can hear what you're saying so we could be on the same accord. So, and I may go overboard because I want to impress you in some way, because I want you to like me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because sometimes I will do that. I will go overboard because, as crazy as it may sound and stuff, I'm a very nice person. I'm a very nice, very kind. I am very giving. I'm very giving, very emotional, very romantic, very sensual, very sexy. I'm all those things and stuff like that.
Well,
so
right.
I want you to have, if I like you, I want you to have all of it. I want you to have all of it. So I may move just a little bit fast just so you can hurry up and get it. So I can hurry up and get what I need to get the gratification that I need. You just will talk and stuff. So I need my gratification and stuff like that. And I don't feel like I'm not a kid. I don't need anybody to say stay in this corner and go sucker and go sit in the corner. I want to be able to be responsive and be able to shake and move as I please, especially if that person is saying, come on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Q, you heard what she said. So hurry up and get it.
Yeah, she said right now.
I'm just saying.
Right now.
That's just my choice of words, because that's,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome
that's
to
really what's going on in my mind and stuff, you know. That's really what's going on in my mind. So I'm just, this is the way I feel, because this is the emotions that's flowing, you know.
What happened? Okay.
Yeah. You are tuned into the Bread Lab.
All right.
After
can
dark.
y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. So I've heard everything, and I want to say to Marlene and Quaylen, I guess you guys have been taking notes. I hear a lot of
come up to the mic a little bit more.
Closer to the mic.
Is am I too loud?
No, you're too far away.
Let's see if I can.
Now we just see your forehead.
How's this?
That's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hear you. I hear you guys have been paying attention to our previous conversations using the non-negotiable terminology and deal breakers, if you will. But I want to say this, and it's something that I learned from a friend's mother whose parents are divorced. And she said something that resonated with me. And she said that with all the information that she knows now, based on all the troubles that they had in their relationship, she wished that she would have known better on how to pick and choose her battles. And she thinks that that would have perhaps prevented her divorce, because things that mattered to her then don't matter to her now. And so, you know, I think that's also very important, because I think in a marriage, it's just a constant inward look at yourself constantly on how I can be better, not just for your spouse, but for yourself. And so, and that's another thing, another friend of mine who's married, who's also said, pick and choose your battles. And so what does that mean to you guys? Do you think that, and I mean, I'm hearing your stories and I understand your stories, but what does picking and choosing your battles, what does that resonate to you going forward? Because
what do you mean by that? Picking and choosing battles as it relates to what? That's a broad question.
Picking and choosing your battles, just, you know, in general, what, you know, there's a saying, and I don't know if you guys have heard me say this before, but if it's not going to matter 5 minutes, you know, from now.
Oh, you mean an argument?
5 years from now, don't spend 5 minutes on it. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about when you get in an argument and stuff like that?
Differences, yeah.
Arguments.
Well, just anything, you know.
You know, what non-negotiables are. Are you?
Well, you know, that kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier about counseling and things of that nature. Everybody argues. Here's the number one thing that most of us are going to argue about. I tell people all the time. The difference between man and woman is the fact that they're a man and a woman. We already got the game already messed up because we think differently. That's how God created us. So with those differences and indifferences, and that's a lot of people confuse those words thinking that difference is the same thing as indifference. Indifference means you just don't really care. Differences is just you just have things that's different. So the indifference is like, okay, my girl may want to like shopping. I'm indifferent like that because I don't care. I don't care nothing about it. Difference may be I grew up this way and I have these values and she has these values. Now you got all that stuff and you come together because we talked about attraction and some things that we have that's in common. And then when those differences come in, Like, she may have an attitude about this, or I may have an attitude. I'll say with me, because it controls me. I may have an attitude about something that she don't have an attitude about. Yeah. And instead of getting an attitude on top of that, that's where I think she should pick and choose her battle, or vice versa. You have to look at the value of what it is and say, hey, look, she's probably thinking that way because that's her. That's how she rolls. And although I think this is when we get there, I think this is the stupidest thing in the world to be getting mad at. But to her, it's not.
Yeah.
And if I'm in a relationship, and here's where the balance comes in, and you talk about differences, and you talk about tools, then we have to get out of the moment and slow ourselves way down and say, look, her feelings matter. How she thinks about this matters. And if I go in this and saying, this is stupid, well, I'm saying it in this tone, all of a sudden she hears, this is stupid. Like, wait a minute, I didn't yell. But to her, that's what she hears. Because now I'm not valuing her feelings, or I'm not valuing the moment, and then it escalates. So picking and choosing the battles for me, it starts with slowing down the process and looking at the fact that I'm thinking different than that person. And you can only hope that that person in turn does it with you. And again, I had to learn that over the years. I mean, I'm just keeping 100. At first, I didn't. I would just, want to state my opinion. Like, what? You crazy? Blah, 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 blah. And then we're at it. And then over the years, you get the tools to learn how to process it. Like, slow yourself down. She has her feelings, and she's entitled to them. I have my feelings that may be a little different, and I'm entitled to them. So if we're in a relationship and we say we love one another and all that stuff, especially in the marriage, then I have to get off of what I deem is so important to me and try to find out what's important to her and pray that she does the same thing. And that's, to me, is where you start finding how to pick and choose your battles.
There you go.
Yeah, well,
to me, when I hear pick and choose in battles, it sounds very surface to me. Right? Picking and choosing your battles is like, okay, you want pizza, somebody else wants a salad, or you like the color green and they want the teal instead of the blue in the home, or whatever. Those are minuscule things, right? Toilet paper going one direction and the other person likes the other.
There's only one way to do the toilet paper, by the way.
Exactly.
Hey, there's a whole design.
Let's just make sure it's
design
official.
shows
It goes
which way.
forward.
But what I'm saying is that's very, like, it's just a very small picking and choosing your battles. You're going to be upset that your spouse is throwing their dirty laundry on the floor and here come put it back, in the laundry. Those are picking and choosing your battles. Do you really want to get after your spouse day in and day out with their dirty socks? Yeah, it could be annoying, right? But is that sufficient enough to create an argument? It's silly. It's stupid. For me, the non-negotiables is, do you believe in monogamy, right? Do you believe in Jesus? Do you, are you vegan versus someone being a carnivore? Like, those are your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say that I have a few, not many non-negotiables. Just don't be mean, okay? Because I really believe in letting people be who they are now. Because before I was very, very impatient. I would call out somebody about something and I'm not listening and things like that. So now that I'm reassessing and looking at situations different because I'm much older now, and it really takes maturity and wisdom to really figure this thing out. Trust me, because it's things that people have said to me and I didn't see it, nor did I hear it. And it's not that I didn't want to hear it. It wasn't that. It was because I didn't give a damn. Okay. But now, because I care so much about people and how they feel, I pay attention, and I do self-talk is what I call it. And I say in my mind, and they don't even know it because I'm so busy listening, that how can I come across to a person so we can have a win-win situation? Because because the love I have for you, I want you to feel like you won, and I can't lose anymore because in the past I have lost a lot. I'm talking about internally because I was so busy trying to make sure that not just my husband, but people were happy and stuff. But I wanted to be a win-win situation. So when people do certain things and stuff, I look at the situation. I evaluate so quickly in my head, like where they come from, why they did it. Did somebody else do something to them? If this is possible, that I can just let it go. Do I need to mention it? The value, the cost of what is going on, or what the repercussions are going to be after I say what I say, or can I let this go? Is this going to be a future ongoing thing, or is this going to be something that's just a short-lived situation? And I look at all the angles and stuff, and is it a time and place we can have this discussion another time and stuff where I can have this person alone? So I'm looking at all these things, and guess what? It's all happening in 1 minute, and you just wouldn't believe how quick my mind is doing all this before I open my mouth, so I can make sure that this person wins. So yes, Akila, I pick and choose my battles, if you want to use that word, and I don't have a lot of deal breakers and stuff like that, because I truly believe in people having their own personality and being who they are, and it's up to me as an individual to figure out and identify who you are, because even though you're not like me, it may be some coolness in that, or it may be some funness in that, it may be something that I really, really like, and or I never experienced, and you just put me up on something because you do it that way, what, and stuff like that. Oh, that's cool, but where before I just wanted to do Belinda and I wanted to be me, and that could have been a part of my situation with my marriage too. It could have been a part of my situation because I wanted to know it all. I wanted to be first. I wanted to say you're wrong, or I wanted to do these. So now that I've been there and I've looked at my situation and I evaluated myself, now I can say that it's very important for me to get to know you. It's very important to hear what you're saying. It's very important to make sure that I'm on the right page with you, not you on the right page with me, that I'm on the right page with you, so we can walk together and stuff and be a unity and stuff. And I'm not trying to get off the subject, but I think that that's what the problem is with blacks right now, because we don't try to understand who we've been dealing with. We don't even know our own people. We don't know why they do what they do. You don't know the experience they have. We don't have the time to hear it and stuff. And that's why I say that listening is important and stuff. I think that, and they talk about what's the word when they say unity and stuff. I can't even think of the word, but doing things as a whole. Not separating ourselves and stuff. And I think that not only do we separate ourselves in relationships, we separate ourselves in friendships, we separate ourselves in ethnicity, we separate ourselves in every way we can, because we don't take the time to really try to appreciate who a person is. Like, I appreciate that you said what you said, and you being your authentic self, or you being your true self and stuff. I'm not mad because you're not thinking like I'm thinking. I'm not even mad at you because you rather be with a person with both eyes. I'm just not. You know what I mean? That's just who you are. We can laugh about it and walk away and stuff, But what I'm saying is and stuff, I respect you for being honest. So I'm going to look at the situation. I'm going to look at the situation a little bit different. And that's what we need to do. Look at situations a little bit different and make it positive, and stop trying to find the negative and stuff, and practice being positive and saying that I appreciate, even though I didn't like that response, but I appreciate the honesty, and that's more positive than anything else, because I know where you're coming from and I know who you are. So now I can represent for you. So when you come walking down the street and you start talking and somebody gets you all wrong, then I can honor you. I can stand up for you, and I can say no and stuff like this. It's this because of X, Y, and Z. And stuff doesn't make you a bad person. It's just that you're thinking in a different direction, and that's all cool. And we have to just embrace it.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Akila, you there?
You got sound?
No sign?
No sound.
I'm done. I'm cool. I'm done. I got it off my chest. I'm done. I said it. I'm like Kevin Hart. I said
it. We got anybody? Any lip readers? Anybody can lip read Akila?
No.
Yeah. So many.
Akila
so many,
saying it is time to go. The Bread Lab Live is going.
She said you ain't got to go home, but you got to.
Dark.
But you know what? We've had people that have been still just coming in and chiming in to hear what you guys have had to say. A lot of good feedback. To me, there was like so much seasoning on this show. This was, there you go. Lisa Crook, Odin said.
Oh, it's one of my constituents in the boardroom. What's up, Lisa Crook?
Yeah.
Invited to the show.
Well, there you go. We all know that divorce is a stigma. So whenever someone is divorced, there's going to be the search for red flags. You know, there's so much more. I mean, I wanted to, make sure to find out, when you get divorced, are you trying to find a new person by just, you know how Mr. Potato Head, you can take all the pieces off of and do it differently. You know what I mean? Are you finding just a new Mr. Potato Head, or are you going and getting a whole different vegetable? You know what I mean? To start all over with. But yeah, Belinda's, you got some good feedback today, Belinda. I told you you a whole show by yourself.
I don't really like to brag about I'm God's child and stuff like that. I just demonstrate that I'm God's child.
Okay.
And that's what I do and stuff. When you demonstrate it, showing me, I can show you better than I can tell you who I am and stuff. And you have to recognize and identify who I am, just like I have to recognize and identify who you are. No. And if you can see it, and you can take the time and then you're showing your true love. You can't say I love somebody and then not give them the time. You can't give them the patience. You can't give them the concern. You can't give them the ear, and you can't give them the eye. So that's all I'm saying and stuff. So now I've learned from my marriage, and it's cool. I'm gonna get married again. Yes, it probably will happen for me, I'm sure, and stuff, because I believe I may talk a little crazy and stuff, but I'm very intelligent. I'm very kind. I have all the qualities, and I'm a very good cook, and I'm all those things. So any listener that's out there that see me and stuff,
you got an Instagram. We can put you out there. Hey, we can send them to your Instagram page. Have them follow you on Instagram.
No, I don't do all that.
They're gonna be in your inbox. Stone, help her out with the inbox.
I have a good heart and stuff, and I want anybody that I deal with to have a good
Belinda,
heart.
Belinda, are you on Facebook at all?
Yes, I'm on Facebook.
I want to reach out. I want to bring you on my show, the boardroom. I do a show on Sundays. You as well, Marlene. I'd love you to come in. I do a show every Sunday. Excuse me, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's called The Boardroom. DJ, and so we do. It's called the Sunset Sunday, the Menage a Trois. And the reason why we call it the Menage a Trois, I do 3 shows in one. I used to do, a show on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, but I do everything on one day now. So the first hour we get turned up. We call it the entanglement. The second hour we call it the wind down. So the turned up, then we wind it down, and then the slow dance. But it's some wonderful people in there. Akila, that's why I met Akila. Akila's coming to the show. She could tell you it's a really nice show. We have a good time. Q, I need you there. And Akila can tell you, because we don't have a lot of men. It's like 98% women. But when I tell you the vibe is really good, it's a good way to meet some people. And, as far as people following you, you can meet a lot of people and share some of the things that you're sharing with on this feed. I've had fun on this. I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, Akila's come to the show a lot, and I think the last show I plugged her show and told people to come check out the Bread Lab, and gave shouts out to Q as well. And then she asked me to come on, so how could I resist? And I've enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect, but it's been a good time.
Yeah, each one of you guys have been a blessing. I do appreciate the personal stories that you shared, because you didn't have to, and you did, so I appreciate that. I do believe the viewers are also grateful and thankful for what you had to share. We do this every Tuesday night. We don't have the title just yet, but we are going to do some grown folks, some real serious, personalized, meaningful topics that we'll speak on next week. Next Tuesday we will be on Thursday, and we will be talking with another testimony, I believe. And then Friday, we have our Friday show at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock in the morning. I forget the radio station off the top of my head. I don't have all the cues, but KCAA. Did I get it right? I'm gonna get a raise. That's all I gotta do is mute Aquila, and I just get a promotion. So we definitely appreciate you for just hanging in there with us. There was so much good conversation. It was hard to stop anyone. We would love to have you guys come back again. There'll be more, conversations like this. You guys blessed us. You blessed the show. I appreciate you. I thank you guys so much. And we thank you for following us on YouTube and on Twitch and on Facebook today. And just gonna close out. God bless you guys, and we will see you guys real soon this week. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
Y'all never close.